in all history. He said it will be so great that except the days of this terrible time of trouble be shortened, there would no flesh be saved. Then we have our dear friend from the North Carolina area predicting and prophesying that the coming of Jesus Christ, or the rapture of the church, that is promoted by most modern day Christendom, is going to take place in the month of September of this year, just a few days from now, on the 11th and the 12th and the 13th. This brother has gone so far as to declare that nuclear exchange or war will begin on October the 4th. Ladies and gentlemen, I have here in my hand a letter from a friend who works in Washington, who asked not to be identified, and he talks about the cloud attack on the United States. Hear me, my friends. The people of God everywhere, in praying and fasting, are beginning to describe this glorious, glorious, glorious day in which we are living. You may not agree with me when I call it a glorious day, because some folk like to identify me as a doomsday preacher, but that's just not so. My friends, the coming of Jesus Christ is here, and we who believe in His glorious coming have lifted up our heads, and we are looking up, for our redemption is drawing nigh. Brother Wesnett wrote in his book about the coming of Christ, and my friend, now the destroyer of the Gentiles is upon us. I have here in my hand the book on the sword of God. Look at something else this sword will do to us, this writer declaims. How is the gold become din? How is the most fine gold changed? Lamentations 4 and verse 1. That sword took away their gold. The sword of communism also takes away the gold and the money. Why has God whetted this sword of communism to take away our money? Because last year, and this was referring to 1984, Christian America spent 2 times more for chewing gum than for missions, 34 times more for tobacco than they did for missions. The American Christians in so-called Christian land spent 67 times more for alcoholic beverages and 2.5 times more for greeting cards. 2/3 as much for lipstick, and 2 1/4 times more for dog and cat food than we spent for preaching the gospel and for missions. Therefore, God is soon to send a sword to take our money, because we spend many times more on pleasure for self than we give to God. And there is only one reason why we do that. That's because we love self many times more than we do God. Ladies and gentlemen, the signs are everywhere. The judgment is upon us. Destruction and famine is everywhere. And yet we still sit by and idly wait. The Bible tells us that we should go on and preach about the message of eternal judgment.